piss. Keep it simple, stupid.
I promise you, this is not a political podcast.
Jump from the deep into the pool, set up the mood. Paranoid radio, set up the mood. Paranoid radio, set up the mood. Paranoid radio, set up the mood. 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 Set up the mood.
Oh yeah, here we go. We're about to jump in, baby. Testicles 1, 2, testicles. Welcome back to Paranoid Radio Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I am Trebles Garcia, your humble host, and I want to thank the Lord for allowing me to be here today, and I want to thank every single one of you for allowing me to enter your space. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I want to remind you that the most important thing that you could do for the show today is word of mouth. Do not forget to check us out at paranoidradio.com and check out the affiliations with Flavors of the Forest. Cook with zest. Ladies and gentlemen, do not forget to season your meat before you eat. And if you are having some cryptid warfare situation and you're paranormally activated, make sure you reach out to Cryptid Warfare Operations through paranoidradio.com. He is an affiliate and they are an extensive, powerful, and very tactical unit that help you and guide you on how to deal with these pesky critters. Make sure you check them out and check out and live free and arm yourself with the tools to, live and make your kids healthy again with Ali Christine. She makes sure that you are parasite free. Check us out at paranoidradio.com. Drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. That allows other people to enjoy the show as much as I enjoy making it. Let's jump in from the deep end of the pool and set the freaking mood. Please give a warm welcome to our next special guest, Tom from the Eye of Jupiter podcast. How's it going?
Hey, it's going good, man. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Before we jump into where people can find you and what you're about, I want to remind everybody else that, guys, if you guys are going through emotional pain, through mental struggles, through withdrawals, don't off yourself, don't hurt anybody else. There is a 24/7 lifeline button on paranoidradio.com where you could chat with me directly or anybody else, for that matter, and spread your pain and alleviate yourself. Sometimes all you got to do is just put the weight on somebody else. Make sure you check us out. Yo, Eye of Jupiter. Tell me, where can people find you, bro?
You can find me YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, Instagram. I just started TikTok about a week ago, but mostly on YouTube. I got a channel over there where we talk about everything, the cryptids, the unexplained. I do like conspiracy. I just haven't had anyone come on to talk about those things, so I would definitely be inviting you soon so we can go ahead and break that ice. I've been looking for somebody, you have to kind of tiptoe around on YouTube, and I'm sure doing it as long as you have, it won't be an issue. So, I enjoy all those topics, and I release a show every Tuesday on YouTube, and I do a live show at 6:45 Eastern time, every Friday, and I have a lot of interesting guests on, like MK Davis, all the names. There's a ton of names. That's just the one that pops in my head first, but mostly, Bigfoot, Dogman, paranormal, psychedelics, and pretty much anything under the sun that's not covered by traditional media.
That's right. And actually, instead of you actually having guests on your show today you're the guest on the show. You're going to showcase a little bit of what you do on your show. I've seen that you have a catalog of not only names and special guests and important people and good speakers, but also topics and narratives, bro. I need you to please tell me a little bit what you know about this draconian agenda. What did you learn with your special guest?
Well, the guest, I can't remember her name. I think it was Sandra Dieske. She's a German lady. And so we got into her and a couple other guests that I've had on. Michael, his name is missing me right now. There's a ton of people I have on. You can go back and check them out. The Draconians, as far as I know, this is, I'm no expert, and I don't think anybody really is. But, this is what I've gleaned from the conversations I've been having with people. I'm not a researcher as much as I am a listener. So the Draconians are one of 28 different extraterrestrials that are in contact or that we have contact with. They have not only infiltrated our society, but they have infiltrated government systems and government entities and basically control what it is that you see and hear and do. And they have quite a kind of a very dark way of going about things, in the way they try to program us and change us to think the way they do. It's mostly concentrated on the bad and the evil, and you can see that from top down, whether it be the music you watch or the TV shows. All that is part of their agenda, from what I've gleaned.
You know what? I have to agree. I have this saying on the show. I've probably said it 1,000 times. everything that we consume always pushes us away. And I'm not sure if you're religious or not or spiritual, but I am going to say this. Everything that we consume seems to push us away from the Almighty Creator and more
Absolutely.
towards a satanic, a very negative, low budget, low frequency habit. And it starts manufacturing that from a very young age. A lot of us grew up on war movies and zombie movies, and then we start practicing the things that we see in those movies. Hip hop, I want to say 20 to 30 years ago, hip hop was talking about how to be a pimp and slap a chick and how to sell drugs, and now everybody's talking about how to be high and how to be a bitch and how to be, you know what I'm saying. So
yeah.
Yeah.
It's I'm a metalhead, big time. Always have been, always will be. I like psychedelic doom metal is like my favorite at the moment. And you can't find that music. These are like artists who write 20-minute songs, where it just goes deep into concepts and ideas of being a human. But I absolutely agree with you, my friend. This is all. It's all. We've been programmed for so long that we don't even know that we've been programmed. And to make you feel at ease, I am not a religious man, but I am a spiritual person. I do have God in my life. I just don't give it a name. It's directly connected from me to whatever it or that is.
An intimate level.
It's very intimate level. I don't need a church or songs or psalms or all that, but I do respect the people who do, because I find it to be, for most people, a very positive thing for their lives. So more power to you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's where it all lays. I did want to share something with you. So maybe something that you could search on and then try to bring someone onto your show. And this is not by all means, I'm not trying to take the light away from you, but I've been trying to do this deep dive on this thing for a while. So I did write a quick little point, and I want to see what you think about it. So this is called the Devil's Pass, and the event happened in 1959. 9 experienced hikers from the Ural Polythetic Institute set off on a skiing and a hiking expedition on the northern Ural Mountains in Soviet Russia. Their goal was to reach Mount Otartan, guys, hashtag look it up if I'm fucking that shit up. I'm sorry. Excuse me if I'm cursing, but they never made it. So the team was a group led by a 23-year-old, an engineering student. He was a poster boy, as an athletic man in that day of age. All the members were experienced and had backcountry skiing and mountain expeditions. Included 2 women, 7 men, most of them in their 20s, all trained and physically fit. The timeline incident, this is what happened. So they were traveling. In 1959, the group arrives in Invel, last city before the mountain. They take off to the mountains. In January 28th, one of the hikers, Judy and Juden, turns back due to the illness because they were getting sick because of the height and because of the cold, ultimately saving their lives. In February 1, so this is just a couple days ahead, the team makes camp on a slope of, I don't know how to say this word, it's in Russian, Kolatsyahl, a mountain whose name means Mountain of the Dead in the Manzi language. So February 12th, the group fails to send a telegram confirming arrival as expected. Search efforts begin days later. So this is what they discovered. On February 26th, searchers found the group's tent cut open from the side on the snowy slope. The hikers had fled in their socks and underwear into negative 300 Celsius weather. Over the few months, their bodies were found. 2 under a cedar tree near a fire, 3 more scattered between the tree and the tent, and 4 more were found in a ravine 2 months later, particularly buried under snow. These are the bizarre details, though. Some had crushed skulls, the chest fractured, but no external wounds. One woman was missing her tongue and eyes, but she had no physical appearance of struggle. Their clothes had traces of radiation. There were signs that they were said that they were died in incredible fear. They went through incredible fear, but no signs of struggle or attack. Soviet authorities sealed the records for decades. Still to this day, that's called the Devil's Pass, guys. One of the biggest.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a trip, bro. So
yeah, dude. My first thought was like, oh, Yeti. That's just me. That's right. I would go Yeti, maybe even Dogman. Who knows? But with the cutout tongues and the radiation, that sounds more like a cattle mutilation of humans. You know what I mean? That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like they were like tested upon by whatever that is up there that comes down every once in a while. That's just my first initial reaction.
You think so? Each one had an individual trace of damage to their body done. Significantly it was different to them. It was unique to each body. So I'm thinking, That's my thought too. These entities came down, took parts of their body, which thought that they were the strongest asset to that body, took a remnant of it, tried to like to build a Frankenstein alien or do research on these people. What you think?
It's very plausible, man, because there's a lot of people out here who claim to be experts, and they're like, this happened and that happened, and I know that because of my experience. But then you'll hear experience that's completely different and out of left field, but that kind of contours the main narrative that people run across when they listen to these type of stories. But there's a lot of strange things that happened in Russia. I mean, dude, just think of Mount Shasta, the weird things that happened there, and it's powerful, like feeling and like cave system and the possible Bigfoot that run through there. There's certain places on this planet that are just unexplainable, so that they're taking each individual parts and then maybe taking and use those to as like say a stem cell type situation and then make that into something, you know what I mean, like superior. That could even be the government, dude. That could even be the Russian government. That's why they maybe hit it too. They could be anything.
Well, coincidentally, we have movies telling you that. We have movies like Splice. I don't know if you've seen it. It has the best assets of each prime predator animal in the world. They combine it into this beautiful being. It turns out that the animal now has a tail that's poisonous. It has a woman body part, has male body parts. It can fly. It could shift sex like a frog can. So it's very interesting, bro. And I think we lost him for a bit.
My microphone turned off.
It's all good. And don't forget to check them out. The Eye of Jupiter.
All right. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I got you, bro.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the camera here. I got to reset the video on. There I am. I actually bumped some cables, moving oddly enough, a piece of cheese. There's a piece of cheese over there. Yeah. What were we talking about until I got sidetracked going, oh my God, I hope I'm not ruining the show.
The Devil's Pass. And then we jumped. Oh, yeah. So Splice, the movie Splice. So we're thinking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's precognitive programming. They do that with everything. That even that train incident that happened in Ohio, there was a movie about that too. They had even though to go like really easy for the newbies who are interested in this stuff, like you can even go back and see like The Simpsons and all the things that it could be just a matter of numbers and statistics where they run out of like ideas for episodes, but at the same time some of the oddities that you find on there always seem to turn out to be real as well. So I can see that being a part of the thing. So like what they do is they introduce it into your mind so that when you do see it or hear it in the world, it's not as like it doesn't draw as much attention as it would if it were to be something that you've never seen before.
Or you pass it off as normal. They normalize it. They desensitize you.
Precognitive programming. That's what they do with a lot of stuff like that. You know what I mean? All the guns and violence from the 80s. And then you had, all the NWA stuff, which these guys weren't even gangsters, by the way, guys. Look it up.
Satanic Panic.
Yes. There's a lot of that in there, guys. Just like, and they want you to be on a treadmill. There's a treadmill of feelings. Okay, we got done with COVID. Okay, let's go over to the war. Okay, let's go over to the bird flu. Okay, let's go to this. And all the burning of Maui with the blue roofs and the burning in in LA. It's always a treadmill to put you on an emotional like just to keep, like you were saying earlier, my friend, like it keeps you within your five senses and not realize that you are part of something greater than what you are.
Interesting
for sure
stuff.
For real. And by the way, that goes with me too. You might just contact me at theeyejupiter@gmail.com if you're feeling a little bit down in the dumps. I've been there too. I've seen the dark side of the moon, if you want to ask. I've been there too. I'm putting in paperwork for the military because of my experiences have definitely messed me up, which I didn't know at the time, but that's how that works.
I want to thank you for your service, bro. Thank you for what you do, man. A lot of us take that for granted, and I think you got some balls, bro.
It was hard. I was young, though. I was young back then, man. It didn't matter. I could run through a brick wall when I was 18, 19 years old. I'm 45 now, so this is all new to me. I'm a musician. I've been on stage many, many times doing music, being a front man, playing guitar, and then I started doing stand-up. And then I just took those skills that I've learned, and I took my interest of this, conspiracy and podcasts. That's what got me to God. A big part of it was my daughter being born. And another part was like when you go down a conspiracy, like these rabbit holes, which is a word I'm really sick of hearing. But once you start following these threads, and you get to what it is at the end, you know it's not about money or power. It's about something darker, something inhuman. So then the conversation happens in your head. You go, well, if there's an ultimate and or true evil, then there has to be the opposite. You know what I mean? Just like on a logic scale. And then, of course, all the meditation I've done, Wim Hof breathing, exercise, and all those kind of things, you do get the states of being where I have connected with that. You smoke a little cannabis for me, do a little meditation, do some deep breathing at the same time, and just, I've separated body and soul, and you know what I mean? And just, reach the other. It's there, guys. There's more to, because there's an epidemic, especially in America. I don't know where you're coming to me from. I just met you, I don't know, 20 minutes ago, whatever it is. But there's an epidemic where people don't have any purpose. So you have to find some kind of purpose, whatever that is. And if it's like, I'm the best shoe shiner in the world and you love it, then you need to pursue that. And that, if you want to make me happy today, pursue whatever it is that you can and get off the treadmill. And especially if you have any type of artistic merit or something that needs to be heard, we're here to listen to it, man, because that's what we want. We want authenticity, because the AI and all those things today have kind of made it that the human element has been pushed aside, and what they really like is true conversations that I bring forth, and I'm sure yourself bring forth on our shows, and people connect with that. And if that helps you guys, then that's great too.
Authenticity.
Culture,
loyalty, and scarcity are the slogan, 3 words that you see first when you go into paranoidradio.com, because it's the truth. We tend to focus on what the next influencer is doing. I just recently learned, I was speaking with one of my friends, Dan McCaff, and he said that there's only 2 types of people in the world. There's the creator, the people that's actually living life, and then there's the spectator. And most of us get stuck in that wheel, like you said, the hamster wheel, just spectating and watching everything else, watching everybody else live their dream, and then you trying to mimic what they do and you forget about you being original and chasing your own dream and making yourself happy and learning how to love yourself and how to praise your body and picking it up and making sure that you're vibrating at a higher level, specifically by creating.
Absolutely. Yeah, it all starts with you. Like these 2 paintings back here, that these oil paintings, those are mine. You know what I mean? I just one day said, I'm going to paint, and I started painting. One day I'm going to play guitar, start playing guitar. I want to do stand-up, start doing stand-up. And just realize too, anything that's really worth doing is very hard to start with, but keep at it. And I'm sure you will find some, seriously, just watch Bob Ross. I know it's old school, but he gives me such comfort just to watch him create, and you can do the same as well. And I hope to one day have a channel like that where I do like a story that I've heard about, some encounter with a cryptid or something like, conspiracy, go down a story that I've read, and then paint at the same time, and then give that people the little auspicious, here and there kind of thing.
That's unique. That's unique.
It's an idea that no one's done yet. I just gotta get the money to get the paintings. I am here in Mexico. It's hard, dude. You don't make much money here, man.
Yeah, I bet, man.
If I get lucky, dude, I'll make $35 a day for 8-hour mixing concrete.
Holy crap, man! Tough job, bro. But you're happy. Dude. You got your kids. You're okay.
I'm free, dude. I'm free. I am.
Who can say that nowadays? I'm a conspiracy theorist, bro. People decide to flip the word free to safe. They'd rather be safe. They'd rather be comfortable. They'd rather be, I want to say, they'd rather slouch. But can you say that you're free? The expression I saw on your face, sorry if I interrupted.
No worries.
You said you were free. I've only met maybe 2 to 3, a handful of people that have ever told me I'm financially free. I'm free. You could be broke, but be freaking happy as hell and be free emotionally. That's your idea, mind, man. Your thoughts. Yeah,
that's the idea, because that hamster wheel, dude, it's awful. You know what I mean? You keep people always punch above their means. You know what I mean? They're it's all materialistic, and they're all like, I want the next car, or I want this, I want that. That's my girlfriend. And they put themselves in this debt, because that's what capitalism basically runs on, is debt. So they put themselves in debt, and they become like indentured servants to themselves because of the trickery through those things. But do you really need the best car? You know what I mean? I'm lucky I have a car, and I just try to keep it running the best I can. And I have a basis of pay that I have a house in Germany. When I was younger, I worked hard. I drove a crappy car, and then me and my ex-wife paid it off, and now I get the rent money from that, which isn't much, but it kind of gets me by. I pick up an odd job here and there. I try to get the podcast going. I'm thinking about being a tutor. I just got to save money to even get the tutor. That way I can actually make a little cash and spend some more time with my little girl. But that if that's my only hurdle, it's like, I'm okay, man. You know, I'm all right. But being free is a mindset, dude. And being free here it is. Being free doesn't mean you sit on the beach drinking a Mai Tai and looking at the waves all day, because what do you do tomorrow? Being free is doing the thing that you want to do and not having any financial burden. That's being free.
I love it. I love it. I have to amplify that. That was beautifully put. And I do have a question for you, though, and I have to pivot back into what you do on your show.
Sure.
You said you had, I seen that you had somebody on your show talking about the theory of lost time. This is very interesting because we're not only having lost people, right? But we have lost time. And coincidentally also, time is the most powerful and the only real currency that we carry every single day.
That is so true.
About that.
That's what you do when you work too, to kind of splice them together a little bit for you. It's like when you work, you're not making money, you're selling your time. You really are. And that's so the people's slippage of time is a weird thing. I was talking to, I think it was Ginser Brickus. I think that's who it was. He was having these weird he's still having actually these weird connections with, he calls them the forest people. And he does a trek up the mountain behind his house in BC, Canada, and he goes to this one spot, and he knows it's about an hour away. But between the point, because he laid out like some gifting things like a watch, or they stole things out of his bag, I think it was, and he lost like quite a few things. And on his way up there, he started finding them, and once he found them, he found himself all the way at the top already, and he looked back and go, "Oh my God, where did the 15 minutes go?" Happens. There's a connection too, guys, that there's out there. There's a connection between these Bigfoot cryptids, the paranormal, like the hitchhiker effect that happens to people too, where they'll go out, see a Bigfoot, see a dog man, next thing you know, they're at your back door. This happens a lot too. Lost time, and it's also definitely connected with the UFO thing, you know, where people are driving along, they see a bright light above their car. Next thing you know, it's 4 hours later, or they're at a mile marker that's 50 miles away from where they were, and they don't remember, or they missed their exit completely. So what's my theory on that? I don't know. I wouldn't say a theory, it's more of a hypothesis. Like, you know, if you believe in multidimensional universes, which I completely do, is that, you know, it's just a frequency of sorts. And sometimes they kind of bump into one another. And then you kind of slip over there in a dream state and come back. There's times when you guys dream too, or sleep, where you'll sleep 5 hours and dream heavy and wake up and feel like you slept 8 hours. And there's time you'll sleep 8 hours, you'll dream heavy, and you'll wake up and it feels like you slept 10 minutes. That's kind of part of it too. Or it can be induced by, say, even a higher, I wouldn't say a higher power, but that could also happen, of course, like some divine intervention, things of that nature. But it could also be like, you know, these entities, these 28, or I think they're 28, the numbers just come off the top of my head, other species or races that we're running into have the power to manipulate time, which would explain in a Newtonian concept of them transversing the universe in the way to which they do. But I think they're interdimensional. So lost time, I really enjoy those conversations with the people who experience that. I had a gentleman who took Salvia divinorum, which is a very powerful psychedelic, scheduled one now. It wasn't scheduled back in the day. What do you call it? Substance. And he was like, you know, this guy he was with was a ranger in the military, and he's like, okay, they don't test for this. I'll go in, I'll get the most powerful. So he got like 100x, took the biggest 3 hits, and next thing you know, he wakes up on the back of the boat. He did this in Alaska, wakes up on the back of a boat in Texas, outside of Dallas. And he basically lived an 8-year life where people knew him. He had high school pictures of himself that looked the same. He had a different name. He had a job where he did apple work, but there's no apple orchards. No apple orchards.
Shut the front door,
I'm serious, dude. I'm serious, bro. And then he woke up after 8 years. He finally accepted his reality that not that his children were gone, that his wife was gone, that they never existed. So he eventually accepted it. It was like the longest ego death ever. Then he woke up in the basement of his friend's house, and only 45 minutes or 45 seconds had elapsed. peed himself. His wife was mad at him, and he ended up like selling his businesses, buying a boat, and moving off like the shores of Hawaii. And he would just go on the land, collect some mushrooms. She ended up leaving him. Now he's a stand-up comic in Houston. Completely changed his life. So it could be a multitude of things, dude. It was a wild episode. Go check it out.
Dude, don't mind if I reach out to that guy, bro. Oh,
No, please
goodness.
don't. He's a great guy. He's a comedian. I said, so what's next for you? What do you accomplish in life? He goes, I'm already doing it, dude. I'm going to do this stand-up thing till I die. He has solar panels on. He has like a little shed or like a warehouse he lives in. He has a van that's all decked out with his solar panels, and he just drives around, does triple runs through the upper Midwest, but he's based in the Houston area. Cool guy's name is Steve Cantwell. Steve Cantwell. Check him out.
Steve Cantwell, I'm going to check him out right now. I'm going to write down his name because that story needs to be retold and heard.
Well, he said it on the famous podcast, and I heard it on like Slapped Ham, one of the bigger channels. And he said it on, he's from Baltimore. He said it on the Crab's Nest with Crab Feast with a famous comedian. I can't think of his name right now. And I just seen it. I was like, I gotta talk to this guy. And he accepted immediately. So please, by all means, contact him.
Steve Cantwell.
It's Cantwell.
Cantwell.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
If not, I'll send it to you. I'll send you his information.
Please, that'll be freaking amazing. Yo, well, the reason what was I going to tell you last time?
I threw you off.
That was you threw me off because I was trying to hold on to that thought. Okay, so linear spaces, which you said about this is why your body gets so energized, only a 10-minute break sleep, right? And then sometimes you feel like you only slept 10 minutes when you slept 8 hours. So when you oversleep, your body goes to that trance. But when you start hitting that REM sleep and you hit that frequency, that channel from point of when you're awake to the point you hit your deepest sleep, that bridge is like a liminal space where you can interact with these entities in your subconscious. This is why they program you. This is why they're so busy keeping you in Stockholm, like stuck with Stockholm syndrome and stuck on your phone, following the next trend, watching ads on TikTok instead of taking 5 seconds of your life to go to the search bar and find for the information yourself. You're spoon-fed this information. It gets stuck into the back of your consciousness. And when you go to sleep, you start interacting with them. And they could be demonic entities, paranormally activated, or different things like Bigfoot or interdimensional things that, quite frankly, I think are not good. But it's crazy.
When you're in that state of sleep or in between is the weird one. I've had that too, where you have that sleep paralysis. People say like people feel like they're being pushed down. For me, I just felt like I couldn't move. I could hear my alarm, not the alarm, but the tick, tick, tick in the background. I could hear my ex-wife breathing and everything, and I just couldn't move. If someone were just to move my pinky, I would jump out of the bed. They catch you like these. There's also, I don't know how you feel about demonic entities, but I definitely believe in them because I speak to a lot of Christians. I have many of my friends are devout Christians, very strong, and they're like, yeah, dude, they exist. I've seen, my girlfriend's Catholic, welcome to Mexico, right? and they're like, oh yeah, there's here, dude. Have you ever heard of Aleutians and things like that? They have those here.
Aleutians? No, explain it.
Aleush. It's like a small cherub entity. A cherub being like Cupid. So they have that shape and form, like where they're kind of partially naked. They got the the big backsides and they're short, kind of pudgy, but they're Mayan. So Mayan, where I am in Mexico, I live on the Yucatán Peninsula. They still 30% of the town speak only Mayan here. You know what I mean? There's some who speak both. My girlfriend, that's her whole lineage, and she doesn't know but a few words, but her mother speaks more, and her grandmother was fluent. So that's how deep I'm in. An Aleush is basically somewhere between an homunculus and some type of cherub entity. So what happens, the Mayans, this is where corn comes from, guy. Corn comes from Mexico originally. And the Mayans, it was their life. So they would protect their lands by doing like this 7-day thing where they would just like make this mud and blood type figure that's about 3 foot tall.
I love it. Yes.
Offer it corn and do like rituals, and then on the 7th day it disappears. But what happens is, I bought property out here in the middle of the Yucatán Peninsula. I live literally in the jungle. This is my apartment, but I have property. And they're out there, bro. They like to throw rocks. They like to whisper in your ear. Sometimes people have seen them. I've talked to Mayan gentlemen here who work on farms and ranches, and they're like, yes, I've seen them. And there was one story I heard in someone's backyard here. Some backyards here are big in the city. I live in the state and city of Campeche. It's Nowheresville, which happened because of the pandemic. If that happened again, I'm going to run into the forest, and don't tell me to go in my house. Don't tell me to go in my house. Ain't happening. And yeah, he was like, they kept hearing something. They're having a couple beers in the backyard, listen to their Mexican music. They blast their music here, dude. They love it. And so they kept hearing something. They have a cave. Here's the limestone outcrop of the Yucatan is very cave ridden. So they like to live in the caves. They have this thing called Mal Vientos, which translates to bad winds. So people go in these caves and they'll come out with stutters. They'll come out with fevers that last for a couple days, and some of them are actually perish. So on this particular evening, this is a guy I work with. His name is Norberto. Permiso. He kept hearing it, and it was his uncle, and it's like a friend of his uncle's. And uncle said, "Okay, let's put a cigarette out there and a little glass of beer." And they were sitting there waiting, and this little fucking thing came out. Picked up the beer, drank it, smoked the cigarettes, and the neighbor, ran out of there, got a fever, and never came back to the property. This is very common down here. That in the Ishtabai, which is kind of like the Ishtabai is the bell witch of the Mayan culture.
Holy snap, the Bell Witch. This is interesting because that's the one I chose after too. I don't know snap about it, bro. Let me know. No, this is amazing. Woo, I've seen a duende. I don't know if this. I look.
Duende. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm in LA. I'm in LA. My mom is from my adopted family. Rest in peace. My mom was from Guadalajara. And, and she seen him when she was a kid. And this is not my genetic mom by all means. But when I got to see it, I was fresh out of jail. So I wasn't high. I wasn't, I was trying to go to work. I came back. It was 7 p.m. And I'm not going to tell you the whole story, but I seen it in my room the next morning when there was a dramatic event that happened between me and my room and this thing that I saw. And
okay.
I'm telling you, bro,
I got to have you on my show, bro. You're coming on my show.
Bro, it got me shook. It was this tall, maybe shorter. And the body, it was this tall, and the head was this big. So the head was bigger than its body. So then I started doing some deep dives, and I found out that these things has different names. In Europe, they're called brownies, and in different areas in the world are different. But they're technically all the same type of entity, right? So then I'm like, what the heck? I told my mom, and she's like, mijo, don't do anything to him. Don't say anything. Don't mention it. He let you see him. Good. Don't talk about it again. Just let it go. You'll probably see him again. I was like, what? She goes, I used to see him when I was small, and I used to give him jewelry. I used to give him my socks, pairs of clothes, and they would play in the pond, like a little pond in Mexico. So I was like, what the heck? So now that you're telling me about these,
it's a little different. Alucias and duendes. I've heard a story about a duendes that's going to blow your socks off. So I'm at this party, right? I just meet my girl, and this woman spoke a little English. So I just kind of gravitated. She was a young girl, 25, something like that. We just started talking, and she was like, "Oh, so what do you do?" And I'm like, "Oh, I listen to music, and I have a podcast where I talk about Bigfoot and this and that and the other." And she's like, "Oh, I got a story for you." And she was talking, "Okay, there's this thing here called duendes." And I'm like, "Okay, so the little people, just as you described, 2 to 3 feet tall. They're like a whole society. They live in like the cracks." And she said she had an aunt who was like,
that culture,
kind of witchy. Yeah. There's a witch on every corner down here. Puro aquí en Mexico. And she was like, so her aunt, powerful, and her aunt, did these things. She talked to them, and she had a husband, and then she found out that he was being unfaithful to her. So one day when she found out, she goes, "Oh, I'm gonna take care of this." And then this woman and this man left the party, and they had an accident, right? So, and supposedly the duendes made this accident. So what happened? The woman came to in the hospital, and she came to, and there was little duendes sitting on her bed, and they were like, "Yeah, we didn't mean to do that, but we had to because you treated our friend wrong, so we cut your brake lines." Right? This is before she talked to the police, right? The police came in about 3 days later when she was a little better off, and they were like, "Yeah, we looked at your vehicle, and we realized that your brake lines were cut."
Huh.
So,
look at that.
They're wild, man. There's so many. Nahual, you know what a Nahual is?
No.
Nahual is like a skinwalker. That's down here too.
So my this is funny. I'm gonna tell you. I said I was on Nephilim Death Squad, and I told them this story. So my real parents are from Guatemala.
Oh, okay.
And my mom she was the number 12 child, or 14, I think.
That's
And so
completely normal.
completely normal out there. So my grandmother shitted her out, basically grabbed her from her leg, with the placenta and everything, grabbed her and threw her in the trash. The
Damn.
person that picked her up was my great grandmother, which is my mom's grandmother. She picked her up, grabbed her, and raised her as her own. Well, she was what they call a curandera, right? A Wiccan or whatever you want to call them in English.
Okay, okay.
The thing is that she would do favors for families. And when the family couldn't pay, she would sleep with the man. And at night, she would become a wild hog and then go murder the man. She murdered almost 14 men in her village. And then the women of that village stoned her to death. Then my mom went crazy. My mom used to sleep on a hammock, just like the one you have behind you right now. She used to sleep on a hammock, and then she had long, black, silky hair, and she'd just throw her hair over the hammock. And then every night, my great grandmother, would come back in spirit and braid her hair every night. So it took my mom to the next level of craziness, and then she started practicing some stuff. My mother's not in my life anymore, but I talk to her from time to time now that I'm trying to close that gap and heal myself. But
Yeah,
God,
buddy.
dude, I'm telling you, like that story. She put it to you like this: my mom lost her virginity to a tree trunk trying to do an episode of spellcasting.
Like a ritual kind of thing.
Yeah, it's fucking insane, bro.
All right, so I can see why I understand. I wouldn't say I see why, but I do understand like your situation, and just let you know you're not alone, brother. You're not alone. Everyone has something like that in their family. But down here in this part of the world, Guatemala, the whole Mesoamerican area, the ground is stained and saturated with the blood of others. It's ritual sacrifice. Not only did the Aztecs do it, the Mayans did it too. So. Who knows what's out in these woods? But trust me, these Aleutians are here, dude. They are here.
That's amazing, yo.
They were trying to build it's between Playa del Carmen and Cancun. It's on the other side of the peninsula. A highway, and they were trying to put in this pillar that goes over. It's like an overpass. And they couldn't do it. Like the machines would break, the column would break apart. And they talked to the local people. You need to build a shrine to the Aleutians. They put it there, worked right away. They took it down 3 years later. Bridge broke again.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah,
That's their territory.
Wild.
That's insane. Yeah. There's something to do with the magnetic poles in that area of the world. There has to be something that's not, I don't want to call it trapped, but something that the Olmecs, the Mayans, the Incas, the Aztecs used to do back then was amplify those areas of the world to contact the stars, to have spiritual ascending, to contact their gods and stuff.
It's a cool place. You can't walk out here without running into ruins, man. I mean, I may or may not have them on my property. I am neither confirming or denying that as well. But you can't walk through the jungle here without stumbling across some ruins. And it sounds like I'm talking some Davy Crockett shit, but it's so true. You'd be just walking with your dog and you'd be like, look, there's a stone wall here. And it's freaking, 1,000 years old. And you're just looking right at it. It's right there. It's insane. I've been to one pyramid here so far, and I got many more to visit. But this part of the world is very for real.
That's crazy. Yo, I'm intrigued. That helps me push the next episode out faster. Guys, I'm prepping a show called Olmecs, and I'm telling you the stuff I found out, man. Oh my God, these guys had a freaking spiritual codex. Like these guys were so advanced, bro. Oh man,
that's not even what their name was. We don't know what they called themselves. Actually, we don't know what the Olmecs called themselves. But I think it basically means the rubber people, because that's where the rubber started, the trees and stuff like that. But we don't even know what they called themselves. They're like one of the oldest, civilizations in this part of the world. And I think she has some of that in her too. Her father's from up that way. So you see those big stone heads and all that. I'm looking forward to that, man. You got to send me that link. It sounds cool as fuck, man.
Yeah, man. I really hope that you guys get captivated by it. And you have to keep in mind these civilizations, while the French were going through the bubonic plague and throwing their feces and their dead on the river, the Aztecs had a full on freaking sewer systems, bro. I mean, these people were extremely advanced and connected to the earth at a certain point.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's pretty wild, man. I love it down here. It's a place of mystery. There's a lot of petty crime and stuff. People down here really. I mean, I had my car battery stole 2 times in a month. I had to put a chain on it and chain that down. The people, but they're not. There's a lot of alcoholism here, for real, my opinion. But the people here, for the most part, are very nice, very sweet, very like, hey, come on in my house and have a tamarindo or something, which is like a Mexican style drink from a tree that's both sweet and sour at the same time. Horchata, all that kind of stuff. I'm loving all of it, and I'm enjoying the culture, and I'm enjoying the people. It's wonderful down here.
Have you ever tried Jamaica?
Jamaica, of course, all the time.
It's amazing.
It's the best.
I
It
love
has to be
bro.
very cold. If you put ice in it, I'm down. I'll drink it all day.
You never tried it hot, like freshly made?
No,
Freshly brewed?
no. I'm sure I can get it though. We just get the leaves. It's from a flower, and it's like a petaled flower, guys. And you put it in water and you cook it, and then you drain off the leaves and you drink it. It's really good stuff. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm all about it.
Yo, where can people find you one more time, bro?
Yeah, you can find me at the YouTube, the Eye of Jupiter podcast. You can find me on the Eye of Jupiter podcast at gmail.com. If you got any stories, if you want to find a comfortable place to come and talk to me, I'm here to listen to everybody. I've heard from experiencers to researchers, people who've been in 20 and back, the Montauk Project. I speak to everyone. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on all the social medias. You can also find me, any MP3 downloader. My podcast is on there. I'm in episode, I think I just recorded 16.9, oddly enough, but that's what it happens to be. And I've been doing it for a little more than a year by myself. And I just got monetized in December, and I'm currently at 1,300 subs. So come on over and check me out.
Check them out, ladies and gentlemen. It's called The Eye of Jupiter, and you can find him on the description of the show. Check him out at ParanoidRadio.com. He's on the drop-down menu of special guests and links. And do not forget to drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. That allows other people to enjoy the show as much as I enjoy making it. Peace. That was great, man.